Continue where we left off, friars, on St. John Paul II's meaning of shame. And as we said, that his meaning of shame was that of a person that conceals their sexual value in order for them to reveal their dignity, their personal value, right? So that others will look at them not with lust, with dignity and respect. And yet, that same woman or women who do this will, as John Paul II reveals in his Theology of the Body, will one day, when they feel loved and they feel that someone loves them, truly loves them, will unveil their bodies to that man, right? And who is that man? Well, ideally, that man would be her husband, right? Her groom, that on her wedding night, she would unveil her body to him. She would become naked without shame. And why? Why would she do that? Why is the shame no longer there? The threat of being lusted after. Why? Because she knows this man loves her. And how does she know that? Because he told her he loved her? Yes, maybe so. Because he bought her a nice ring? Yes, maybe so. But more likely because he went before an altar, before hundreds of people, before a priest, before God himself, and took a vow that he would love her till death do them part. And that's how she knows, without a doubt, that this man loves her. And that's why, with confidence, she can unveil her body to him. And this unveiling of her body to him, conveys a trust, right? That she trusts him, that she is revealing her most inner secrets of herself to this man, and she wants to share herself completely with this man. So much so that she shares herself with this man, so much so that their love, the love between this man and this woman, become incarnate, right? That 9 months later, that love becomes incarnate. It comes into the world. It becomes a little baby, right? That love becomes you and me. Because you and I, in essence, are the incarnation of the love of our parents. We are the manifestation. Think about that for 1 second, of the love of our parents, the great love that they had for each other. We are the fruit of that love, right? And so we also reflect in this way when we think about Christ and how Christ gave himself to us. He unveiled his body on the cross. He was naked on that cross, so to speak, right? I mean, not completely, thank God, because as we heard, the Blessed Mother made sure that he was covered for his genitals. But for the most part, he gives himself. His body is naked. He gives himself totally to us. And then later on, he gives himself to us in the Eucharist completely, as a lover would give themselves to their spouse, right? As a husband would give himself to his wife, and a wife would give herself to her husband. And I would like to reflect on the beauty of sex. Sex is such a beautiful thing. It reminds me of beautiful eyes, right? And when beautiful eyes are on a person that's not only good looking, they're even more beautiful. A beautiful girl, right? But even then, when they're not on a beautiful girl, they're still beautiful within the context of that face, within the context of that human person. Whenever you see somebody who has beautiful eyes, at least I myself am very much drawn to that person. But let's say that you were to take those same eyes and rip them out of the socket of that individual. They would become something appalling, something disgusting, something full of gore, something that was such beauty and gorgeous would no longer be beautiful and gorgeous because of the fact that you have now ripped these eyes out of the socket of these individual. Horrible thing. In the same way with sex, gentlemen, when we take sex, which is such a sacred thing, such a beautiful thing, out of its proper context, which is marriage, which is self-giving, which is love, it becomes something ugly. So much so that causes people to get STDs, to get pregnant outside of marriage and have abortions, to grow up with only one parent, etc., etc. This is the consequences of fornication and of having sex outside of marriage. Let us always remember the sacredness of our bodies and of sex.